Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 77th episode of Kouryer Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Mr. Andy Ivanov. He's a art director and illustrator, and also a story artist from Kharkiv, Ukraine. He has 9 years of experience in the industry, in animation and illustration industry, and we're gonna have him on and ask him a lot of interesting questions. He has worked for a lot of impressive clients like Disney, Pixar, and well, without further ado, let's get to it. Well, let's get to the first question. Give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design initially.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ramtin. Little introduction about me. Um, as you already say, I'm in industry almost 9 years, almost nine plus, and through this way, I learned a lot and find a lot of things. For me, it was a really interesting way because I started from traditional art and um, in a back days, I understand that I should move in a CG. One of my artist friends showed me the pictures of digital art Illustrator, and whoa, this is just interesting. How can I do the same? And interesting thing that I already have a tablet to draw, but I use it more like a designer. So I starting to develop all things that I found in those times and uh, learning a lot. Then I go to the job on the job to game company, and it was my first steps in a professional CG, where I uh, growing up as an artist, as a concept artist and art director in a while.
All right, and is there anything else you want to add on to that question, or we can move right to the next question?
It was a short version. First thing
Yeah, all right.
I can say that I'm drawing from childhood because my parents are artists too. They finished art academy as me later. So I'm drawing from childhood till comics, a lot of things I found in the cartoons, trying to copy the characters. And when my mom see that, she say, so you will be artist too. Okay, let's thinking how we will move forward with this. And then I go to the art academy after the school. Finished 5 years there, 6 years, because the last one this was final one. And after the 6 years, I go to before the game company, as I always said. I go working in book publishing as a designer, illustrator, and uh, the guy who working with the text. So full stack designer. And after this, I thought uh, I should move to the CG. So it's more complicated version, but
All
still
right, thank you.
fast.
Yeah, thanks so much. And well, you already explained that since the beginning of your childhood and your early years, you were always interested in art, and also growing up in an environment when your both parents were artists, of course, obviously helped with that process. But originally, was there any other thought that maybe when you were growing up, that was like, maybe I want to become an engineer or something, because usually most times like the norm in the society and the schools and everything is that they encourage kids to go to like STEM fields and not so much in art direction. Was it always art for you?
I think yes, it was always art. I have no any troubles with the thoughts that it's not super cool. Sure thing, my mom worrying in those times because uh, uh, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, it was like if you art, you should working with the paint, and it not always you cannot always find a job in this way, and the future was like in a fog. But uh, it, nobody afraid my choice, and even take, oh, let's go to the academy and learn more about this to be more professional, or because later when I draw something cartoony, it was like not super real. It's not it's like jokes. So you should paint pictures, oil paints, something like this. So I got this background as a traditional artist, and then my kid inside me didn't die. I still want to uh, draw some stylizations, some stylized characters and worlds.
All right, awesome. And well, I mean, in the introduction, I already mentioned that you're an art director and a story artist and illustrator. But right now, if you could explain and tell us what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on currently, and tell us about your experience from the start of it until now.
Um, Currently, I'm working in a startup company, game company, as an art director. I can say a lot now because NDA and all of this.
All
Um,
right.
but I have a second part of my art life. It's my absolutely personal home projects that I doing just for myself and for audience that I have in Instagram. I'm creating a little projects like a story project or like some some story development. A little comics is it's not a finished project, but a concept how it can be if it will be a big project. Is For example, my project School Days Adventures about 4 kids. And their adventures is kind of like Stranger Things, but in a cartoon style, and yeah, so so it's like atmospheric uh, project, and I developed a few locations, character develop. I'm using a lot of characters because it is a school. You should have a class, um, main heroes, main friends, their opponents. So it was really interesting, just like a process to find a reference, to learn how the structure of school is existing. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, and
All right.
now is my yes, my other part of life. It's my personal art projects. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And I think I saw I think two of them, which is I think everyone who checks your profile in the first 10 seconds they realize that there's two major characters that recur a lot, two of your OCs, like original characters, that are actually super popular, and we're gonna talk about them a little bit in the podcast. But for the people who are listening, and I want to get a little teaser, the two characters are one of them is a mermaid called May, and the other one is a guy named Nick Travel, which he travels around the world. But of course, we're going to talk about them later in the podcast. And well, with that out of the way, let's move on to the next question for now. This is a little bit about the technical aspect of your work, all right? So the question is, how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a project? Like,
Hmm.
what steps do you take? What the structure and pipeline of your process looks like?
Yeah, that's a good question because I'm always trying to find a better way of a pipeline, and currently I'm in the start of a new project on the first steps on it, so I can tell how I will be working on this new project. So First of all, maybe as all artists, I'm looking for reference, and now I want to pick one of the location I live in, and using not only reference from internet or Google Maps or I don't know Pinterest. I want to use real life places, locations, and trying to um, sketch it from the life, just to catch not only shapes but the feeling of these places, and after to cover it in some story, little short stories. So the first thing, I'm gathering the reference with the photos and uh, little sketches from the life, from real life. Then I want to uh, organize it in a few lists. The first will be like uh, from the real world. The second list will be of reference. It will be the style things, the style like um, from TV shows, cartoon TV shows. I will choose a few styles and trying to um, gather some things that I like of, from these styles and organize it in something new. Yes, and it all about just about environment. Then I want to do the same thing with the characters. I will go in the same location, check out the people, trying to understand their thoughts, their movements, and maybe even notice what they are saying. I hope it's legal. It's not spying. Um, so in my next project, I want to develop as like in the big studios, like a Pixar, Disney. They go into the real locations and trying to catch everything, the mood, catching the mood, the atmosphere. Yes. So that's
Or
the first part.
sorry, sorry,
And
sorry, sorry.
yeah, yeah, and then when I got this base of resources, I'm trying uh, to organize it now in my head and make a lot of sketches to find and develop the style. So that's my way nearest months is because I'm not hurry. It's not nothing pushing on me, and I just love this process. It's like a little detective with little things around you. So I'm just loving to explore it, or everything, every details.
All right, awesome. And now, well, in this section of the podcast, I want to actually talk about some of the works and also the works, the original characters I already mentioned that we're going to talk about. I want to talk about them now. But first,
Okay.
all right, I think there's a couple of artists before we entered that like zone of subjects we're going to talk about. I just want to mention one thing that I think you're also one of those few artists on Instagram that their art has been stolen a lot. There are some like particular artists that their works because of how expressive the facial expressions, the things look, especially those kind of type of artists. Their works get stolen and used by a lot of like these like quote pages on Instagram. Like they take an illustration of someone and they just snap a quote or stuff like that. And your works are also, I think I saw your works a couple of times in some pages without even any credit or anything.
Really?
And yeah, it wasn't even those pages that just promote artists' art. It was just there
Mm,
with like a quote to snap to it. And I think another artist I have in mind that I remember that his work is also gets stolen a lot is Pascal Import on Instagram.
mm.
Yeah, his works also like they're also really
Oh,
expressive and also simple as well. Like not simple, not in terms of technical, I mean, but just
yeah, I
to
understand you.
eye.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I follow
now,
you.
yeah, and but first among the characters I already mentioned, and which is among your personal artworks, is Nick Travel, and it also has a page with 14K followers. So it's pretty popular
Already
for
14, I said.
a virtual character.
Uh-huh.
So go on, sorry.
What was the question actually?
The story
Ah,
of Nick Travel and how it came
yeah.
by, what inspired you, and just in general any details about it.
Uh-huh. About Nick Trail. Oh, actually, I'm artist who loves to draw characters, and my weak side was environment, and I thought, how can I uh, move myself from this point to start draw more environments. I thought about a lot of ways. It was speed, virtual speed painting. Virtual, it's in a Facebook, as I correctly remember, um, and it's like a challenging way. But I thought, how can I move forward and make from this not only just studying process, but how can I move it to more than just sketches of environment? Uh, and I thought, what about the guy who will travel through the world, through the our real world, with real conditions, with real weather, with real timing. Um, but this world will be cartoon, and this will be fake guy, and he has his own Instagram account. I thought about this, and oh no, I will not do it. It's one more account I can't like uh, put a lot of work in my account because the main job can take my all my time. Then I skip few weeks, and now I'm thinking about one more account. And after this thoughts, uh, after 1 week, I created this account and started the job because the idea I like this idea and the simplicity of this idea. Because I checking uh, Instagram hashtag or location, looking what's going on in this moment, recent photos, and see the real conditions of this location. And it's like too easy to draw something like from the photos people are traveling and add my character. So um, I just wanted to start it, and that's how Nick Travel life was begun. Few locations I visited by myself, so I draw it from photos I have in my archives, and I hope in the future I will use it more than just looking for other people places, because I, in my background, I 26 visited 26 countries, as I correctly remember, with my family. And we traveled a lot, actually, too. So the main idea, it's like a travel blogger who um, traveling through the earth and capturing the most interesting things in those countries he visit. And now I have, yes, a lot of followers, and everybody asking, please visit my country, please visit my country. Yeah, I promising everybody, yes, I will.
One
But
day.
yeah, it will be one day. It's true. I'm not lying.
All right, and about the other character May. Now, there's one thing I want to actually ask you. I saw some of your recent posts of the character May, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who wants to see the story that's happening in the pictures for the rest of the listeners. But
Mhm.
there's another person involved. Is that Nick or is someone else?
As a guy,
Y-
as a,
Yeah, the
the
one she falls in love with, apparently.
Yeah, actually, everything started in 2019, 2019, and it was the first story. Then next year, 2020, I make a sequel, and this year I made a prequel before the story in 2019. So it is the same guy, and now the story is like from super beginning to super end. Because in mm, 2019, people asked what's happened, why is this guy fell in water, from what's going on. They even made their own decisions and thoughts in a comment, typed in a comment, what is going on in the past. And some thoughts was like mine. I thought too. And this year I wanted to make a whole story, and I already finished it, and I happy with it, because um, it's a big pressure for me, because of May. I have so many followers. They always wondered what is going on, what will be next. I want to see the prequel, and this way how I did the prequel sequel. They want to see the sequel. I did the prequel, and then I put two stories on top of it, and people just satisfied. I have a lot of comments like, "Whoa, that's a cool story," and a low percentage of comments. I want to know what will be next. So now it's complete, and people are satisfied with it.
All right, and actually, I have a like an idea. Have you ever thought about like maybe like making a Kickstarter on a, or a Patreon for it and make it a, like a indie animation project so you could maybe hire like two or three other assistant animators and artists so you could actually make it turn it into a real thing? Because I think there's a high chance that it will become successful, in my opinion. Or you might
Uh,
even be able to get a real actual deal with maybe, I don't know, Hulu, Netflix, or something. Maybe if the initial trailer garners some, additional attention,
yeah, sure thing. I thought about it. The biggest issue that in my country, it's I have no uh, PayPal as a 100% service. So we in Ukraine we have PayPal just for paying, but not to earn the money. So all these Patreons and uh, other resources are working with the PayPal. I should check it because I checked it last year. Maybe something changed. Ah, yeah, I thought a lot of about Patreon. Even thought about how can I make this little plans. How it's called. I don't know. With a different cost. Yes, because yes, a lot of people are asking me, please Patreon, please Webtoon. Do you know Webtoon? The service where
yeah,
but
yeah.
yes, it's just tones of comments. Please post it on Webtoon. I already make the account there, and I heard the stories that some stories from Webtoon were made in a Netflix as a TV shows, and yes, it possible. And I thinking about this opportunity. And I hope nearest time or I not promise the super nearest because now I'm have a cool job that is like almost my personal project too. um, but nearest future, I want to do something to publish in Netflix or just move on those direction.
All right,
Actually, my
awesome.
current project that I want to develop, it's more like focused, like Netflix low. It's like
fine.
Uh,
And as you were saying, you said that there are some contents that is just special and local to content of
yes,
Netflix
yes,
that is special and local
yeah.
to Ukraine. All right.
Yes, so Netflix love the stories about some local things, and I want to try um, to get this material and then in the future move it forward to the TV show or series, and maybe Netflix will load. Yes.
All right, that sounds awesome, and I hope it actually takes off. The project takes off because it actually it looks amazing. By the way, for anyone who's wondering, for the audio listeners, I'm sorry you have to check the Instagram or the YouTube version, but for the dear people who are watching it on YouTube, the video version, right here, as always, I have like the time lapse of the any guests' works that are on, and of course, I'm going to put like pictures of the pictures I'm talking about, like atmospherically and in terms of like color harmony. They look so aesthetically pleasing, so I think in terms of that, like it passes that aspect of a high quality animation. But there, of course, for every animation there has to be like other aspects. There's good sound design, there's good voice acting, there's a lot of stuff. But in terms of aesthetic, I think it has like, I genuinely believe it has good potential. And
Thank you.
if you in the future you're going to have a Patreon or Kickstarter, I will personally donate some for it to take off.
Thank you.
And all right, let's move on to the next question for now. By the way, I want to ask you about something. I also checked your personal account, and I think you recently got off Plarium Studios, right?
Yep.
And the Plarium Studio, for anyone who doesn't know, if you're someone who watches a lot of YouTube, you've probably heard this teaser and introduction in every YouTube video. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends with over 1 million downloads. Yes, Plarium is the main studio that made Raid Shadow Legends, and well,
This
for someone
podcast
who,
not sponsored by Trade Shadow Legends.
unfortunately, yes, it's not sponsored. Um,
Unfortunately.
yeah, but the question I want to ask is, first, I want to know your opinion and also experience that you had in working at Plarium Studios, and also in case if you worked on any part of the game, the famous game Raid Shadow Legends, or anything about it, you can tell us.
Hmm. Uh, yes, I worked there. Actually, it's my first job when where I studied as a CG, started as a CG artist. So when I in 2013, I thought I should be a CG artist. I made a few illustration, learn a lot, a little, and then go to this job. And I worked there almost 8 years, seven and a half, or a little bit more. Oh yeah, it was a big life experience, like artist life experience, and I learn a lot in this company. Learn how to manage the artist. Learn how to be a better artist than you are, and I have a I should say huge thank you for these years working in Plarium. Yes. About the rate, I was in another department where actually I was an acting art director. This game should be launched soon in a world. That's why, unfortunately, I can't tell a lot about this game. But in a few countries, it's already released in US, in Canada, in United Kingdom. So you can find a Mech Arena game, and I think it will be next big hit from this game studio, and maybe it will be the same advertisement company this week. You will hear about this game too soon.
Yeah, but I don't think anything will top Raid Shadow Legends. It's because it's just part of the meme culture at this point.
Yeah.
Um, All right. Now, before we move on to the next section and question, I want to actually give a shout out to your art station. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a link in the bio of his page, Andy Art, and I'm gonna, of course, put it in the caption as well. If you see, there's a link in the captions of to an art station, which goes to the store section of the art station. Now, what's there is this? It's just nothing. It's just a very super awesome speed painting pack art. All right. So it involves
Thank
10
you.
speed painting videos, 10 work files for both Procreate and Photoshop, and also 10 high quality JPEGs, and also 10 Procreate brushes. So if you're an artist and you're inspired by his art style and you want to study a bit, just supplement your art education, you can totally check that out. And the price is super just awesome. It's just $4, less than the price of a Starbucks coffee.
Five,
So yeah,
five, yeah.
yeah, five. Oh, it was five, but now it's got slashed to four. So what are you waiting for? Go
Save
check it out.
it. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah, my pleasure.
Valentin. Thank you.
All right. So the next question is something that I don't ask every artist, but I ask those who in their works there's like this hint of like just pure creativity, like whether it's character art or environment art. I'll ask that artist. Now I'm gonna ask you this question. What's the question you might ask? It's this: have you ever used your dreams as inspiration for your works?
Dreams. You mean
Yes.
dreams when I sleeping?
Yes.
Yes. Um, I thought about this opportunity, and I even noticed some of my dreams uh, as like little illustrations that I should uh, create in the future, but still I didn't do this. I think because it's like it's a good way when you don't know what to do, and you should find some kind of like inspiration. That's a good way. That's why I noticed it. It was earlier in the year. So now, because now I have few ideas, few projects, and uh, some thoughts, and I have no time to realize it to do this. That's why dream as for me dreams it's like in a background, but some things I using, it's not like a full idea from the dream, but some things like details I'm using in my um, stories that I'm trying uh, to realize. Yeah.
All right. And well, the next question is: who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Oh, I'm so bad in the names. I'm just good remembering the pictures. But I have few that I like referencing a lot. It's Tyler Carter. Uh, it was my lecture in a first course of color and light, and after his course, I just opened a beautiful new world of color and light, actually. uh, and now I still following him and his work. Also, another one artist, it's Armand Serrano. I really love how he thinking and organizing his processes, how he developing actually visual development artist, and uh, I learned from him a lot. And when I visited United States, I even met with him, and he makes me a little excursion in a Disney. So yeah, also I like Mickey Montlaw. It's a comic artist. He have his own comic books and work in big studios as a comics artist too. Oh, actually, I love a lot of artists, but I unfortunately I can't remember everybody's name. Just I remember the pictures. It's my problem.
No, it's fun. I think most artists have that problem because as artists we're really visual, so we don't really
Yes,
care
yes,
to learn the to see the writings or anything. We just like I'm sure if I show you a picture of, for example, one of their artworks, you can realize them by the style of the work, but maybe
yes, yeah.
not by the name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a little thumbnail avatar. It's more recognizable for me than the nickname or name.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a problem,
And
modern
yeah,
problem.
yeah, true. The next question is not something I usually ask everyone, but I already asked a couple of people, but I asked this question from people who've been like super successful. Like success is like a relative term, but in terms of like growth on social media, all right. And actually, there was another guest I had on the show like a while back, Thomas Barcelo Casola. If I Yes, that was his name. He was a really good sculptor. Like he does
Hmm.
really amazing sculptures and works, and he has like 100K plus followers. And I also asked him this: how to grow on social media as an artist, and any advice and tips, which is the question I'm asking you now. But the thing is, the answer he gave me was pretty interesting. He literally told me this: I don't know how I grow on social media. I just post my stuff, and he was confused that like how it happened. But the thing that I realized from his work was he's super consistent. Like he has a lot of posts, and he's always working every day.
Hmm.
And but that aside, from your personal experience, what do you
Hmm.
think really helped you to grow on social media?
It's remind me as a panda kung fu. There are no secret ingredient, unfortunately. Um, um, if trying to analyze how it's happened, I can just guess in how it works. So in my case, it was a surprise to me too. In um, 2019, I thought I had a 3,000 and a half followers, and I thought in this year I should make it in 5,000. It was my goal for the year. Um, so I tried to participate in a challenge, uh, Mermay, which going every May every year by founder Tom Bancroft as a artist from Disney, old guard. And I drew the first one image where the mermaid diving up through the water, and that's it. I even uh, make a note. So I don't remember what I wrote there. Like, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not to start to participate in this challenge? Actually, um, and this picture gathered 5,000 likes, and it was like blowing for me because recently I have just 800, 900 likes. It's a maximum. Actually, it was like a phenomenon in my Instagram. And then I thought, okay, it works. I should draw one more mermaid. Maybe I don't know why it works. Maybe the records, the perspective, not simple like top-down view. What I can draw next is the same interesting for audience. Uh, I thought a lot, and then I thought I will use the same mermaid, but with another composition with over under the water, and through my sketches, I realized, what if I add the man that she's saving? Okay, let's do it. Then I post, and when I wake up in the next morning, I saw that it gathered 40,000 likes, and my Instagram boosted in a few thousand followers. Um, that was a big kick for me, just to thinking in this direction as a story. And then I realized that maybe people love. Uh, we are already now living in a era of series, so people like to see something and then waiting for something next by the story. So if for artists, if you see that the followers or other people liking your work, try to do something not similar, but something about this, like next steps, what is going on. Like if the character standing, try to do the another picture about how this character started to move or surprised. And actually, one big thing I think works, it's motion. It's emotions. Uh, If the picture can get emotion from audience, it it have a big chance for success. So if it shocks, it works better. But don't use the like easy way when you making the scary or disgusting content. It shocks, it can works, but uh, you can go not in a super comfortable direction in the future. Only if you like this to draw these disgusting things, sure think it can works for you and for your audience. In each way, you can find your audience. So if we will back to the question, I think the big chance of growing your social media, it's trying to do the series of something. Uh, it can be series of illustration. It can be a series of sequences of something of environment, and try to put the little story. It can be simple story, uh, just about, for example, like one person met another person from a long time. They didn't see everybody, or the dog. The series, emotion, and story. This little one. It can help, but it more harder than just posting day after day the pictures.
All right, so I think one of the main takeaways here is that actually I just realized that, and you're completely right. Participating in different drawing challenges is really a good way to get some like genuine actual traction to your profile, and also not just to your profile, to your works. It could lead to your other socials and everything. Yeah, so participating in challenges is super
Yes.
effective because I also had another guest who also, I think Fernanda da Costa, she also participated in character design challenge, and she also got a lot of boost to her social as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of factors can uh, be in a success, but yeah, you're absolutely correct. Uh, it because the mermaid is a huge challenge, and there are a lot of mermaids who draw in mermaids. So the little story uh, was like a little hook for people who following the hashtag mermaid, and yeah. when it's a global challenge, it really boosts a lot. The hashtag boosting, you can be in the highlights, or it's Instagram, when you're searching something, and Instagram propose you a picture. So yeah, challenge. It's maybe October will be soon, and if you will trying to create some story as a ink in ink style, it can works too. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of factors. Instagram algorithm, so everything. It's hard to understand. Maybe it's a little luck. Should
No, I
presence.
wouldn't call that luck. I wouldn't call that luck. I mean, the work has to be good, in to begin with, So I don't think
Mm,
that's luck. But what you mean is that the algorithm, luck with the algorithm of the Instagram, not
yeah.
necessarily the work. In that case, yes, you're 100% right. But like
Hmm.
some another guest I had, Janos Crash, and his socials were like in 1K, 2K, and he also did this amazing piece of concept art about like underwater, like there was underwater zombies. It was a really beautiful piece, and in
Hmm.
terms of color and everything. And that
Emotions.
got 10K likes, and that got 10K likes suddenly. Why? Because he boosted his post. There's this feature with Instagram that you can boost and sponsor your post. Like it helps the algorithm to pick it up.
Hmm.
So you basically, in your words, you increase your like by paying. Yes, it's kind of like a win to pay game, Instagram. But that really helped. That little thing helped him to boost his socials now, I think, to 10, 11K or something. And he actually increased the people in his Discord community as well because of that. So,
Hmm.
but it only works if the art is good. That's the
Hmm.
only way it works. It's not just, all right, someone just can spam their, sponsor their post and it will probably get nothing, but first, if you taking care of the art part, the foundation, then the
Hmm.
rest you have to work towards them, which is like, participating in challenges, sponsoring your posts and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm. I think that one important thing that you not you not should you should not hunting the success, because if you're trying to catch it, it really hard and uh, almost impossible. First of all, you should have fun that you are doing. You should have this fun, and in a second way, you're trying to boost it with hashtags and other stuff about algorithms of social media. Not don't put on a first to be famous. It not working. It not working. It can even disappoint somebody who trying to catch this single as a success. Try and just love what you're doing and believe um, in your art. Uh, make it with love, and don't forget to put hashtags as a second thing, because you
Yeah.
can be super cool artist, but if you ignore all these algorithm rules, you nobody will see you, or a little
Yeah,
percentage.
exactly.
So it will be really hard to promote yourself without any hashtags or challenges participation. So it's
Yeah,
like
and
two things that working together, but in the right like direction.
yeah,
The
they
first
work
is
together
fun.
simultaneously. Yeah,
Hmm.
at the same time. And I mean, what you're saying is 100% right. I mean, and it's not necessarily for art. I mean, it's for everything. Do something for the love of it. Like, don't do something for the hope of success in it. Because
Yes.
if you pursue something with that mindset, if you don't succeed, you're just gonna leave it. But if you actually love something, you do it for the love of it. Like, for example, if you love playing chess, You play it for the love of the game, not because you want to win and beat your opponent. Like you will
Yeah,
still play if you lose even
the
100
process.
times in a row. And with art is it's the same with art. You should at the first base of it should be because you love it and it's fun for you. You love it, you know. And I'm
Hmm.
100% sure that even if you didn't like, you know, your even if you even won the challenge and everything, if your social is the boost, you would still do it. You know, you would still go on. You would still continue. I'm 100% sure because you love it.
Hmm.
You love what
Yeah,
you're doing.
absolutely agree.
And all right, let's move on to the next question. Any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists?
Um, about portfolio, one thing I can advise it, don't do super massive portfolio. Uh, Pick up your best things that you like in your in all your career or all your projects or illustrations. I don't know. Pick up from 5 to 10 maximum. Uh, Five even better, and that should be your portfolio. But you should always to clean up the portfolio. If you drew something new and it is better than your previous five projects or like folders in portfolio, just kick up the worst because when somebody looking for artist and he open the massive portfolio, he just, oh, it's too many and just skip it. Or if it see them a lot of old stuff and can
As you were saying that, you know, sometimes when the people the as the hiring assistants who look at, you know, people's portfolios, there's some stuff that, you know, they usually take notice of, as you were saying. What are those things? And could you please continue?
they noticed uh, few things they can notice the techniques if they need the artist who will just doing some specific job uh, and they looking for the technique and style the artist can work and other way they looking how the artist thinking because if in portfolio they can see a lot of ideas or um, things that can help for their project, it even better for artists than they looking if they looking only for the techniques. So ideas and technique.
All right. And all right, the next question is kind of like a kind of break from all these
Mhm.
technical questions. What area beside the area you're working on right now, which is of course art and, you know, illustration, would you be interested to explore and learn in the future? It could be anything but non-art related.
Um, I think I don't understand the question correctly. Can you explain?
What I mean by that is, yes, sure, sure. Like if you had like extra free time,
Yeah.
you know, enough free time and energy, what would you learn if you had time? It could be
Yeah,
even anything
I got it.
non-art
Got it.
related. It could be a sport. It could be
Not
anything.
only
All right.
art or uh,
No, it could be
yeah.
anything. It could be anything.
Now I actually I have no time, but I trying to find it for. um, Now I'm trying to understand and the organization system of life. I don't know how something about minimalism, something about organization processes, how to organize the notice, how to um, I don't know how it's named, but in general, I trying to organize everything. I already do it in my computer with all files, and now trying to do it in my life habits. So
Yeah,
maybe you know how it named, how it named.
Yeah, I think I actually do that myself. I kind of have make everything structured in a way, like every single aspect. Like I even organize my files on the, of course, like in a term of like
Hmm.
archiving way, files on my computer. I even have like a pipeline. I drawn out like an algorithm, the stuff I
Yeah,
should do in
yeah, yeah,
life. Like I
exactly.
actually drawn out my life. It gives you better
Yes,
clarity
yes,
and
yes.
but better overview of what you're
Hmm.
doing. It makes you focus better because if you don't write your
Everything can
stuff down,
mess.
or illustrate your thoughts, it's like a mess, like mosquitoes flying
Hmm.
around
Yeah,
in your head, and it's
I
really
know
bad.
that it's like iconic artist should be massive, or I think no, it should be organized. As for me, it's like my opinion. If you are organized, you can plan more and better. Before all this stuff with the COVID, I have a practicing every morning to go to the coffee shop and to draw 1 hour before my main job to draw my personal
Mm.
project, and it was the most productive uh, period in my life. I was super productive, and
All right, and sorry,
yeah,
go on.
and everything fine. Yeah, I finished.
All right. So, with everything that's been said and done, to conclude all we discussed, please give us a roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and wants to get to the place you are when it comes to in terms of skill set. Like, so for someone who is here, who is in zero in visual arts and wants to become an illustrator like you, what steps, major steps, should they take to get
Oh,
here?
so, thank you. You've given me a lot of compliments today. um, I think the people who starting in this way, they first thing that they should do is thinking what they want exactly, because it's really plenty ways how to be an artist. You can be an illustrator in a book stuff. You can be artist in a gaming. You can be artist in a movies, in a cartoons. So first of all, you should understand what you like, what you really like, not what can give you more money or interesting career. You should understand what you really love to do. Maybe you don't know what you love to do, but you already understand and love to watching. Uh, you like to watch cartoon TV series, or you like to reading the book with illustrations. So when you on a start, you should understand what direction you want to improve in. And then if it illustration, you can move to the next step. Okay, it's illustration for book, it's illustration for posters, it's illustration, it can be a lot of ways in only in illustration, or it's comic books. It's absolutely different than illustration in a books. So step after step, you can focus your attention in some kind of direction you want to be improved as an artist. Don't try uh, to catch everything. First of all, you should sit and thinking, because yeah, another way you try everything, yes, but you can lose a lot of time. I don't know, maybe it's bad advice now, because it is about me. I sit and thinking. Now I like these illustrations of this artist, or not illustration of characters. I want to do the same. I develop what other things these artists do, and trying to do the same. And then I understand that I want not only illustration. I understand that I like cartoon TV shows. I'm not working in cartoon TV shows, but uh, I'm developing it a lot. So as for me, mm, you should understand the direction of your wishes.
All right. Well, we've reached the end of our podcast, but there's one last thing I want to ask you.
Okay,
One last
no
thing,
problem.
because it's something that I started to ask. It's something that I started recently asking artists, and I think it's something super important that I should have added to the template of my podcast from the beginning. But unfortunately, I didn't. But now, before it's too late, I want to start asking this very important question from every artist that comes on, and that is, well, first of all, thank you so much for coming by,
Thank you.
Mr. Ivanov.
Thank you for inviting me.
Um, all right, my pleasure. And the question is, Mr. Ivanov, now I want to give you this opportunity to say a final word, from you to anyone who might be listening to this podcast, maybe in a couple years or maybe like tomorrow. If there's like in in a human perspective, not just art, if you as a personality could s- say one message to people who are listening, what would that be?
Having fun. uh, Enjoy what you are doing, not only at art. If you like love to do something, just have fun in the process. Yes, love the process more than goals. Goals, it's important, but the process is a way to uh, you spend a lot of time or through this way, and you should love it and having fun from it.
All right, I love that beautiful
Thank you.
message. um all right, so where can people contact you if they had any question? Is your Instagram
Yes,
okay?
yes. Instagram is, I think it's now it's more most things that I reading. Yes,
All right, awesome. So, of course, I'll put your Instagram in the captions and also tag them in the post in the Instagram page of the podcast. And, well, with that out of the way, thank you so much for coming by. And thank you to anyone who's been watching or listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any questions or criticism of how to improve the podcast or anything, please leave them in the comments down below. And, well, that's it. Take care, everyone. Have a good
thank you,
day.
Ramtin. Bye,
Bye.
bye, bye.